just by the way. I had to do that, sorry. I look the best I've looked in the last 30 years.
Well, you have asked for it and now you're going to get it. Guess what? It's the one and only Bernadette. I've been able to finally get an interview. It's actually been 1 year since we first started working together, and she shattered the internet, my social media. Her transformation blew up. Everybody reached out after her. Photos come out. She watched me live. She got up and she flexed into the cameras with that red dress, and everyone behind her just freaked out. You can see it in the videos. I'm interviewing her. You're going to love this. Tune in. Hey, can I just say it's such a pleasure to see you again and connect with you. It's been ages. And
With you as well.
are we close to 1 year?
Yes, I think that the 1 year was or started. So I finished the program round about the Adelaide event.
That's right.
So that was end of November or late November. So yeah, so I'm probably just like a week or two off or something like that. Yeah.
You know, I still got the initial inbox that you sent through to the business account. How you
Oh,
said,
really?
"Hey Anthony, I've just signed up. Looking forward to working with you." And then we sort of got in contact from there. I've still got that original one.
Right. Oh, that's amazing.
I want to take it back from the very beginning. So we're going to take it back before we met, before we connected. Take it back for the audience. What were your goals, and what were you trying to do to achieve those goals?
Right. Yes. So before we connected, I started the carnivore diet. Probably about just over a year before that, about 14 months. And well, before I started the carnivore diet, I was eating just tons of sweets and yeah, trying to eat healthy, but really wasn't. So tons of salad and then washed down with lots of sweets. So then I started the carnivore diet. And I was seeing all these influencers and everybody saying, "Oh, this is so amazing! You lose all this weight, and I feel so much better." And I was looking at Kelly Hogan, who's so skinny, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting for that to happen, and it wasn't happening. So I lost about 4 kilos, which, looking back on it now, was probably just water weight or inflammation, and nothing was happening, and I was getting quite frustrated. I mean, I looked better. I could tell with the inflammation when my appearance changed. I did look better, but I still felt that I needed to lose more weight. I mean, fat, obviously. So I was getting more and more frustrated. And then I started seeing your videos with different people, interviews. I think you did one with Bart Kay and then with Dave Mack, a couple of those. And then I thought, maybe this is what I need to do. I need to work with a coach and get some advice, because I was doing stuff. And then when you talked about how you should be training in one of the videos with Dave, I sort of switched over to that. I started doing that, and I could feel that it was helping, but I just wanted to speed the whole process up, to be honest. And I just wanted to shed the fat and tone up and look the best I can possibly look. And that's when I got in touch with you.
Yeah, you did two with Dave Mack. You did one originally before you transformed, and
Yeah.
then you did another one post coaching, right? So that was the one that really got people noticing of your results and your transformation and everything. I'm going to post up a picture now as to the photo that you sent before we got started, so people can actually see this. You were probably hovering around the high 20s. Would you say 27, 28%, maybe even 30%? Is that correct?
Yeah, maybe even that, because it's I use the online method when you put your weight in and your height and are you female, male. So I don't know how accurate that is, because now I'm using a smart scale, which seems to be really, really accurate. Like, they are claiming that they are on par with DEXA. So around about the high 20s, definitely. That's where I'm started from.
Wow. And then run us through, before you started, run us through, because you said you did carnivore, what were some of the other things you were doing? Were you doing Pilates? You said you were doing maybe some personal training outdoors. Like, what's some other things you were doing?
Yeah. So I had a personal trainer that I worked with for at least 18 months, if not 2 years. And we were doing outdoor sessions twice a week, strengths, like sit-ups, the usual stuff, sit-ups, push-ups, step-ups in a park, a little bit of boxing. I love boxing, so we did a bit of that. But nothing was changing. Nothing was changing. And I just, looking back on it, I'm just a bit annoyed, to be honest, that he was quite happy to take my money, week by week. And it was never really results focused. There were never any goals set. Where you are now, where do you want to be? So yeah, now having gone through with that experience with you, and it was just a completely different approach. And yeah, I don't even know how these trainers do this, to be honest, that they don't get any results with their clients. And I wasn't getting any results. And even when I mentioned the carnivore diet to him, when I first heard about the carnivore diet from a YouTube video, I think it was Cam Berry, and yeah, I watched that, and some other people mentioned it. And he said, "Oh no, don't worry about it. You can eat whatever you want. It's all about just the calories." And I had a mate who lost weight on an ice cream diet. I was thinking that's just insane. That's what kind of advice is that, And it just can't be healthy. I had always been health focused, so it didn't make sense to me to say stuff like that. And then he was just sort of belittling me and almost borderline ridiculing me when I said to him that I am actually doing it. And then he tried, but he couldn't. so then we parted ways.
Wow.
And also, yes, I was doing Pilates, quite a bit of Pilates, 2 or 3 times a week, at least twice a week. And I was maxing out the machines. I was like, when they told me to do 20, I was doing 70 or 80. And that was around about the time when I heard one of your videos with Dave Mack, and you said, that you have to go to failure. And I was like, I can't even go to failure when I do 80 of this on the highest settings. So how am I going to go to failure here? So I started to think this is not enough for me. This is not going to be right. And then, yeah, that's when we connected.
Well, they do say from life, there is no such thing as bad experience, just experience, right? So from the good, you learn what to do, or from the bad, what not to repeat. So some of these things that you tried, they were just experiences. And I guess you just learnt what not to do, what not to repeat, including the trainers that are listening out there. What trainers tend to do is, if they're out of their depths, this was me back in the day. Bernadette, had you have met me in my mid-20s, I was that trainer. I was, okay, this person wants to lose weight. I've got no idea how to do that. So if I just throw enough mud on the wall and hoping some of it's bound to stick, and we get the result, hopefully. And there's no feedback, there's no sense of direction, there's no battle plan whatsoever. So I just want to address that. Now, moving forward from there, I want to ask you, as we started training together, as a reminder, and I told you this in the very beginning, there are clients and there are clients. Out of 10 of my clients, 2, maybe 3 would get similar results to what you did. Out of that, the 7 do not. I want to ask you, what are some of the non-negotiables you brought into this transformation that you were never going to go back to old ways? What were some of your motivating reasons, number one? What motivated you to do this, number one? And then number 2, what are your non-negotiables?
Yeah, so I wanted to be in the best form and best shape of my life. I mean, you get to middle age, you hear all these things that, oh yeah, you're getting older, certain conditions, and it's normal to put on some weight. And it never sat right with me. And my motivating factor was that I wanted to get into the best shape of my life. I was on a path with the diet, but the weight loss, the fat loss wasn't happening with the diet. And I went to a sports school when I was young, for 8 years, primary school in Hungary. I joke about it that it was a commie school. But we had a lot of, we did a lot of sports, obviously. It was a sports school, so seven PE classes a week. Plus, we had to do athletics in the afternoon and all kinds of sports. So I played all kinds of sports, and I knew that if you are active and if you exercise, then you can be in good shape. But then somehow later on in life, trying all kinds of different things, it wasn't happening for me, and I went off track, and certain things got thrown my way in life, and yeah, I was just not in the best shape and not in the best place. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to turn my life around, turn myself around. And my non-negotiable was that I dedicated this time to this. And I said to myself that the 3 months that the program is going to be, that's going to be my number one focus. Nothing else mattered. No going out, no watching Netflix. This was number one priority, putting the steps in the 23,000 steps when I was walking at 11 o'clock at night, and I was sort of looking at houses and the lights on in the houses and thinking what people are doing, lying on their couch, watching something TV. And I'm not doing that, but I don't care. I had a goal in mind, and I was going to achieve that no matter what. And because you gave me all the tools, you gave me all the directions, I didn't have to think about it in a way of, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? No, I just followed your directions blindly. Like, if you told me 23,000 steps, then it had to be freaking 23,000 steps every single day. And I wasn't even watching my weight in a way how I notice how people obsess. Like my clients tend to obsess about their weight. Oh, it didn't go down today. It didn't go down. And I keep saying to them, I didn't even obsess about the weight. You told me, actually, I remember when you said, don't worry about it. If it takes a year, it will take a year. We're just going to work together. And that was so comforting for me. And I thought it was so lovely of you to say that. And I really appreciated that, because that in a way took the pressure off me. But because you said that, I wanted to make sure that I bring my effort to the table, my 100% to the table.
That's a big point you just raised there, because as coaches, as you know, we'll talk about your coaching in a second, because you've done some crazy things, awesome things with coaching. But as a coach, when we don't have a client that adheres to the battle plan for 2 weeks at least, all we want is just somebody to just play at our energy, play with us. Like, I just want you to match my energy just for 2 weeks. And that way we can get some cause and effect relationship with whatever the key performance indicators we have, whether it's the scale, whether it's measurements, whether it's the photos. We need to know. But if a client's not even willing to do 2 weeks of that, and then they come back to you and they're complaining why the scale hasn't changed, why we haven't got results, your first question is, hold on, before I make any adjustments, did you adhere to the battle plan? And they're thinking, or they're going to you, oh no. Well, okay, well, that's messed up. We just wasted 2 weeks now. There's no point us making adjustment to a battle plan that hasn't been adhered to. The beautiful thing about your transformation and our interaction together as coach-client, I never had to question you once about your level of commitment. You never deviated. If I said wake up at 3 a.m. and have one boiled egg, go back to bed, you would have done that. Okay, so you never deviated one bit. And I think that as a coach is such a refreshing thing to hear when a client tells you, just tell me what I have to do and I'll do it. One thing I might want to share with you from now coach to coach. It is an area beyond control to us as coaches whether a client is going to adhere to the information you give them. Okay, so you have to put that in what we call the ABC file, the area beyond control file. Okay, it's an ABCs file. Mine's massive. It's a huge file, and there's a lot of things in there: petrol prices, interest rates, you name it, right? So, and one of those is whether people are going to follow the advice you're going to give them. And what you do then is, when you have all these clients, you tend to match the energy with the ones who are bringing the type of energy you brought with me. Have you felt that? Have you noticed that when you meet people, there are some people that they're just ready to go the way that you were when you transform? Have you noticed that?
Yes, absolutely. There is something different about those people. You can tell that they are absolutely ready and almost like jumping at the bit to get started. And that's when you know that somebody is most likely going to succeed, because they are going to make all those sacrifices, I guess. Then when you can't do stuff that you might be doing otherwise, you just dedicate yourself completely to the program. And yes, you notice that there is something about those people, that the fire in their belly, I guess, the spirit about them, and it's wonderful to watch.
Your fire never went out from the get-go. When I meet a new client, I say, listen, because I've had clients come because of your transformation. In fact, I've got a few questions because I put it out to my group, and I said, listen, I'll be interviewing the one and only Bernadette today. For those who want to know, and I had one client DM me, and by the way, she's going to be watching this right now. You inspired her in such a way. She's 60. She had an awesome transformation. Sarah Parmenter, she's the most recent transformation. She was inspired by your story. Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to ask you, she's got 4 questions to ask you. So on her behalf, I'm going to ask you those questions. But going back, when I'm meeting a new client and they've seen your transformation, I say, listen, you have a unique physiology. You've got certain gene mutations as well. We know that, right? You send me some of your tests, right? Because you are a hyper responder. Combination of the fact that you're a hyper responder, number one, the fact that you created an incredible foundation from a young age through athletics and sports. That was one thing that never changed. Even though your life took other forms over time, what never changed was the fact that you had that foundation. Okay, what I tell clients is I can't guarantee you that you are going to get the same results as Bernadette, because A, of her unique physiology, and B, not only that, her unique physiology, but also her level of commitment. Okay, what do you tell your clients?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned my genes and my background, because it is a bit of a double-edged sword, to be honest. I mean, people like your clients, my clients, look at me. I want to look like you. I want the same muscles as you. But like you mentioned, I have a certain background, sports from a young age. Sports was always part of my life. Sometimes for a period I fell off the wagon, but on and off, I was always doing sports. So that musculature is underneath there, the fat layer. And yes, I mean, it gets more toned with the program, and I did build a certain amount of muscle, but it was more about carving the fat layer away. I don't know if you remember, but I sent you a photo of this sculpture of this woman, like a thin woman, chiseling away the big fat layer, and on the top she's like already lean, but the bottom you can still see that big. So it was a bit like that with me as well. Of course, I wasn't that fat, luckily, but it was like that, and it's hard for other people, because if they don't have that base underneath, then they have to build muscle and shed the fat. So what I'm trying to explain to them now is that what you and I did together, it's really phase 1. So it's about shedding the fat, chiseling that fat layer off. And then the next phase is when you build more muscle, and that can take years. Like, bodybuilders don't become what they are in a month or 2 or 3 months or a year. It takes years, many years sometimes, to build all that muscle. And it's possible to build the muscle even at a later age, but it takes time and patience. And you don't see it from day to day. You don't see it week by week. I went through a bit of a period, well, sort of not long after we stopped working together, when I got really impatient and I'm like, why is this not happening? Why am I not building more muscle? And just, by the way, I had to do that, sorry.
At the I was going to get you to do a flex at the end, as I usually do, but yeah. Continue.
But yeah, I went through a bit of a phase where I got a bit impatient. And that's what I tell people, that you have to be patient. Building muscle is a long, arduous process. So my advice to your clients would be, go in there to bring the best out of your current situation, current level. Go as far as you can possibly go with your genetics, with your background, with your foundation, whatever you have or you don't have. Just bring the maximum out of that 3 months. Dedicate yourself fully to it, and don't go into it with too high expectation in terms of, I want to look like Bernadette. And I'm not being big-headed here, but it's not going to happen to everybody. It will happen, it can happen, but it will take longer.
It's a very, very good point, because it is just genetically what's been reserved for you specifically. Your transformation took you as long as it did to get you to that level, based on your genetics, based on your unique physiological response, based on your structure, based on your compliance and your dedication to it. That's the first thing. The second part to that is based on your motivation and based on your reasons why, because that's what's going to anchor you to stay on track. It's a very, very good lesson for everyone out there listening right now, not to compare your physique with somebody else's and your results with somebody else's. Let your results dictate how long it's going to take, providing you don't fall off the wagon and then keep wondering, why aren't my results coming? Really, really good. Now, I'm going to actually ask you these questions that Sarah asked, because they're very, very good questions. Okay, so the first question she asked was, question number 1, once you achieved a noticeable transformation in your body composition, did you receive negative feedback from either family and friends? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Not throughout the transformation. People were pretty amazed. But I must say, I've had people say to me, like recently, are you okay? Like, you're so lean. Is everything okay with you? I'm like, hello, look at me. I look the best I've looked in the last 30 years. Don't I look okay to you? So yes, there are people like that. What you and I joke about as well is, the leaner I look, the more unhealthy and bigger, let's be politically correct here, other people look. And I think that some people just can't fathom that this is possible, and they just can't comprehend it. And I think that there's what do they call it, that cognitive dissonance, that's it, that sort of kicks in with them, because it's just like so unreal to see these changes. I mean, it was freaky for me as well while I was doing it. I remember one time I said to you, my face changed in 2 weeks so much. This is actually freaky. And you said, we can slow down. No, we are not slowing down.
Yeah, so I think the term we have to use now, which is acceptable, is fluffier. So some people tend to appear fluffier than you the leaner you get. First thing. The second reason why they're questioning that, I believe, is people don't want to be wrong about you, Bernadette. They want to be right about you. And when you present yourself in a way that the version they have of Bernadette is not matching the version in their head to what they see before them, they don't want to be wrong about you. So they want to ask you, are you okay? You're not presenting yourself in the way that I would expect Bernadette to present herself. Is everything okay? That's my point of view. That's what I think is going on.
Yeah, very likely. Yes, yes, that makes sense.
Second question. While maintaining the new Bernadette, did old habits from your old self creep back? And if so, did you have to counteract that?
Oh, look, I mean, I'm not the most timely and organized person. I'm starting to think that I may have a little ADHD or something happening, because I tend to do like 25 times at the 25 things at the same time. So that is something that I battle with, that I have to get myself to the gym. And then on weekend days, for example, when I have all day to get to the gym, it has happened that I had the whole day to do it, but I got there at 9 p.m. But it's not negotiable. That's the thing. And then I'm there and I'm beating myself up for it and saying, what a stupid idiot you are, that you had the whole day and you're here now. But that's it. You deserve it. You're going to bloody do the exercises now. So, yes, so to go back to the original question, did bad habits creep back? Yes, a little bit of that structure and being a bit loose around the time management. But other than that, no food issues. Although I've been on holiday, I went on holiday recently, and I must admit, I must confess that spanakopita got the better of me.
Just one pita. That's it.
One pita, and then it was everyday pita.
Oh, see? So now you're becoming more relatable to the people. You're not the T2000 or the T1000 Terminator, like you are relatable, right?
No,
So
I'm a human being. Yeah, I can draw blood. I'm not made of
yeah. Oh, let me just say, like,
metal.
in one of our conversations we spoke, like you got as low as 12% body fat. And then now you're at a miserable 15% body fat. I'm thinking to myself,
So ashamed of
oh,
myself.
terrible. That's terrible.
Yes, so I did fall off the wagon a little bit, but the thing is, yeah, old habits creep back in a way of, I was on holiday. Yes, admittedly, I wasn't exercising. I tried to do a bit wherever I could, but it was so full on, and catching up with family was more important after 6 years. And yes, I went out with my cousin that I hadn't seen for 17 years, and I was having a cocktail with her. One cocktail, I said, that's it. And that's when the spanakopita incident happened. And then I sort of fell off the wagon while I was on Mykonos. But as soon as I got on the plane, I said to my family, I don't care. If I die of starvation on the plane, if I die of hunger, I'm not taking a bite of your food, no matter what. And they offered me, and no, I didn't take it. So that's the thing, if you know that you've got the willpower and yeah, fall off the wagon a little bit here or there, that's okay if you're confident. And I now am confident that I can get back on the wagon anytime I need to. And yeah, it was a bit of a controlled fall off.
Well, that actually answers itself. The way that you counteracted it was like you made it non-negotiable and you made it perfectly aware to the people around you what your toleration is, what your non-negotiables are. You made it clear. Listen, I'm not going to have a bite of any of this, and you're perfectly okay with that. It's like you are okay to be cruel but kind, right? To be cruel to be kind.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, question number 3. Now that you are 12 months in, what new goals are you setting for yourself?
Building more muscle, definitely, that's my goal. So shaping my body, bringing the best out of my shape and form, just building muscle and working on areas that I need to work on more. Like my shoulders, my arms are probably my feature, but I haven't been that happy with my glutes so much. So even on my process photos, when I look back on them now, I see, oh God, they are very flat, the glutes. So I've been working on that, focusing on that. But yeah, overall, just bringing the best out of my body and see how far I can take it. Like you and I talked about, possibly doing like a bikini contest or something like that. I actually changed my mind about that. We discussed this as well, because I just want to look natural, not that overly shaped, overly muscular form that those women seem to aim for. That photo I sent you of those 80s bodybuilder women who look just absolutely natural and beautiful and sculpted, but in a really beautiful way. That's my goal. That's what I want. And then maintaining that.
Yeah, very good point there. And just to add to that, I did send you another video to watch of these body compositions, and I said, listen, based on what's average out there, you are so within the 1%. And then you said something really, really important. You said, because in these videos, these women who are low levels of body fat were not doing the carnivore diet, they were doing flexible dieting, and then they were having such a hard time maintaining health, maintaining sanity. You have been able to breeze right through it and still keep that as your new normal. Would you say that the carnivore diet has played an integral role in the ability for you to be able to maintain this, not have the hunger issues, all the relapses people have? What's your take on that?
Yeah, 100% right. The carnivore diet actually is incredible in that regard. I've been watching a lot of influencers, fitness people talking about, what you can eat and what you can't eat. There's actually a Hungarian guy. He talks a lot of sense. A lot of the things that he says, I agree with 100% when it comes to calories, calorie deficit, being in a calorie deficit to be able to lose fat. But yet he's the same as the others who are saying, oh, you can have carbs, you can have sugar-free drinks, with artificial sweeteners, and you can have carbs and sweets. Just work out your calories. And then somebody comments on the same guy's video saying that, oh, I'm in deep calorie deficit, I'm so hungry, I'm starving all the time. Well, I never had this issue. I was laughing my head off. Like all throughout my transformation, my program, I was eating 2100 calories. Initially, I was really struggling to eat that amount of food. And then when the fat started to go and the hunger kicked in, no issues there. I could eat it. And all along, I was eating that amount of food. I was eating 3 times a day, satiating, filling meals that I really enjoyed, and never had the problem of not being able to focus or overly fatigued or hungry. I was hardly ever hungry. Yes, I was hungry when the meal time was coming up, but that's just normal. You have to be hungry before your meal. So
Yeah.
yes, the carnivore diet is amazing. You put all these nutrients in your body. So you eat higher than normal or average calories. But it's not just the calories, it's the nutrients that you put in with that food, and it nourishes your body. And the more you eat, because now I'm eating probably on average 20 to 2400 a day. So I just monitor my intake, and then I make sure that I match it with my output. So I expand the amount of calories that I eat. But that means when I eat 20 to 2400, that I'm putting even more nutrients into my body.
And that's what's keeping you full and satisfied. The difference between the two, and this is a mistake, or not really a mistake, but there are consequences for those who just do a flexible dieting approach, include carbohydrates, the sugars, the artificial sweeteners, find the most enjoyable way to create the deficit as long as you've met your protein goal. It doesn't matter how carbs or fats sit. Yes, but with the beauty comes a beast, okay? Meaning on one side, you get to enjoy the food you like to eat, but from a perspective of satiety, I spoke about in another video, biochemical satiety is what the carnivore diet brings, as opposed to mechanical satiety, which is determined by high volume of food, stretch receptors expanded, the body gets a singular, it's full and satisfied. When people are having the carbs, insulin obviously blocks leptin. Leptin can't tell the brain that it's actually full from food, number one. Number two, if they're incorporating sugar, sugar inflames the leptin receptors, so the leptin can't even communicate with the brain that it's actually full and satisfied. And this is what's causing the hunger. You never had any of that issue when you're doing carnivore. And I can say that is one win that the carnivore diet has over any other diet when it comes to having to restrict food to a point where you have to get that lean, that you can actually subsist and maintain low levels of body fat year round because your body's always nourished. Would you agree?
100%. And I also remembered one thing, which I think might be a good point to add to this. When I was doing that fitness modeling photo shoot, and you put me on the protein sparing modified fast.
Yes.
So I was then on 800 to 1200 calories. Is that right? If I remember well, yeah. So basically, I ate 2 meals of chicken tenders, just
and egg whites, was it?
And egg whites, yeah, made up into sort of like a little, like looked like rice. I cooked it so much, so it was like I gave myself the illusion that I was eating chicken and rice, but it was all made of protein. And you were joking that I'm going to be crawling up the wall, and it's going to be the longest 5 days of my life or 6 days of my life.
You did okay, though. You did okay.
I did.
It's so good with that.
I couldn't believe it. I was waiting to be really, really hungry and starving, but I still wasn't, because the protein filled me up so much.
That's what it was. I think the weeks and weeks prior, your brain was so nourished with good nutrients that irrespective of that 5-day death week that I put you on, to get those calories low and then to refeed you up, to get that nice popping look on, when you're doing your photo shoot, along with the water loading, what we had to do, like all of that, you breezed right through that because of the nature, the track record of your brain, your cells. They've been so nourished with good nutrients for so many months on end, and now years on end on carnivore, that a 5-day sabbatical, a death sabbatical, I called it, like it did actually okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. Because my reservoirs for my minerals and my vitamins must have been so high. My vitamin D level must have been really good and everything, because at that time I was already a carnivore for how long? I'm trying to think, 1.5 years, more, 2 years, almost 2 years. Yeah. So yes, that it all helps.
Yeah, it leaves a track record. Here's a final question that Sarah asked, okay, and I love this question. What advice can you give to those that want what you have, but are unwilling to either put in the work, the time, or the investment? How do you help them see the value in this program? What a great question.
It is a great question. It's a tough question as well, because if somebody doesn't want to put the work in, then what do you do there? Like it's unfortunately, you know, there's that good saying that you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. It's really, no matter what you do, how much you want it as a coach, if the client doesn't have that fire in their belly, that absolute motivation, that desire, it's not something you can instill in somebody. It really has to come from within.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And I will add to that, with that, Sarah, I would say, as a coach, you learn to work with the deserving, not the needy. Everybody needs success, but do they actually deserve success? And those who are deserving are the ones who do the track record or the work. That's what it comes down to, okay? Life doesn't give you what you need. Life gives you what you deserve. Okay. Now, I want to bring this full circle to you now. I want you to, after all that's been said and done, your transformation has inspired many women on the planet, okay? Like, you'd be surprised how many people have reached out to me and now working with you. If you were to have the biggest takeaway lesson, whether it's a mindset thing, because I don't think you have an issue with mindset, whether it's a a knowledge thing, a hands-on thing. What would you say your biggest lesson was in all of this?
Oh, look, the knowledge that I got from you was incredible. Like I had so many of those light bulb moments along the way as we were communicating and messaging, and you explained everything to me in such great detail, which is wonderful because that's how I operate. I need to understand. Like even though I was, like I said, whatever you told me, I followed blindly your instructions, but I still like to understand the reason behind things, and the knowledge is what keeps me going. And you gave me a really good foundation of the knowledge, and then I'm just building on from that, learning new things, and just became really inquisitive in this space of learning things, and then also discerning what's bad information and what's good information.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about one bad information that's circulating in the carnivore space. When it comes to body composition, I think we both know that. We both know exactly what that is. And you can just tell the whole world right now, what is that?
Calories don't matter mantra.
Yes.
Eat until you're comfortably starved, until meat doesn't taste good anymore. Just listen to your body. And I'm sure it works for a few people, but I'm sorry, I've just recently, just yesterday, saw another post out of the hundreds and hundreds of posts that I see pop up in Facebook groups, carnivore Facebook groups, where people say, I can't lose the weight. Why is it not happening for me? I put on weight. And this particular post that I saw yesterday, this person says, I've been a carnivore for a year and I'm the fattest I've ever been. And the advice and the comments that people give are just mind blowing. It's just, wow. I'm like, stop it already. So yes, the message is calories do matter. And yes, but Kay, we can't eat calories. I don't sit down and gobble up a whole bowl of calories. I eat food, yes. But at this point in time, there is an assigned number of calories to every single bite I eat of the food. And that's what we are measuring. That's what we are tracking. And if some people can't cope with that, fine, carry on, see what you get. Good luck.
Yeah, but funny enough, I did a big long form video which was going to come out in a couple of weeks about that exact thing, about the whole calories thing, and that it's we don't eat heat, but bodybuilders have been shopping for heat, measuring heat, cooking heat, and consuming heat for the vast part of 50 years, and actually achieving predictable body composition as a result of that, because they're manipulating one thing, and that is food mass. Yeah. That's what they're doing. Yeah. They're manipulating food mass. Yeah. A better term, I think, would be, I think Bart said this, is potential chemical food energy. Okay? Yeah. Whatever it is, it's volume of mass of food. Whatever you want to call it, you can't manage what you don't measure. That is the end of that. Now, I just want to ask, how can people reach out to you and get some of the knowledge you've learned over the last 12 months? You can go out and inspire them and to get the results that you've had, or at least half the results you've had. Where can they find you on all this?
Okay, so Instagram is one platform where I post most of my content, carnivores_me. So carnivores like a lioness, but it's carnivores_me. And also I've got a Facebook group called Carnivore for Fat Loss, because I got so fed up with all these carnivore groups where all these bad information and bad advice is circulating. And I said, okay, I invite people, come to my group. If you want to forget about the calories don't matter mantra, and you want to accept that this is one way and this is a successful way of doing it, and you can lose the fat. And yes, I'm sorry, you're not going to get shredded sitting on your couch. So in this group, I do talk about walking and exercise, and I share information about exercise as well. and how to track calories. So yeah, for Carnivore for fat loss, people can come and find
That
it.
is a wonderful name. I love that name. It's so intriguing, especially because people want that. It's very, very, yeah, it's very appealing to the ear. If you ever want like a live interview, if you want to interview me live in that group, happy to jump on and share some ideas with the people if you want. I think they'd
Yeah,
actually
definitely
benefit
we'll
from that.
organize
That'd be
that.
great. And just to let you know, there's a rumor I might be flying into Sydney to see you for a workout. There's another rumor going around in the year. So
Really?
I'll be coming in with the team just to sort of see you, catch up, and we'll do another little workout just for old time's sakes, Bernadette. So I just wanted to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I actually appreciate you a lot. I just love the friendship we have, and you know, the love we both have for Greece as well. So we share a lot together with Greece and Hungary. And I just want to tell you that what you're doing is phenomenal. Like, you've just taken some of the teachings that I learned over the years, and you've just duplicated them, and now you're just amplifying that out to the rest of the people. And I just want to really thank you for that. It's the best thing you've ever done for me, so.
Thank you. Thanks so much. That's really kind of you to say that, Anthony. And I do appreciate everything right back at you, and
Yeah.
appreciate all the knowledge that I learned from you. And yeah, it was a life-changing experience, and it's something that I carry on with me ever since then, and I will carry on for the rest of my life as long as I can. I'm capable of moving and doing what I'm doing. I'm going to continue, and I want to inspire other people, because I find it really sad to see how many sick and unhealthy and big people out there, unfortunately, and I just want to help them as well. And even if just motivation or just sharing knowledge, whatever it takes, just helping people.
Let me tell you a word somebody mentioned to me that's probably listening to this you've never heard of before. She said to me, you walks into a room and her body speaks loud. Like, your physique speaks volumes when you walk into a room. Like, you don't have to open your mouth to say anything. If you walk into a room and your body speaks volumes, it's like, okay, this girl does not have to explain to anybody what she does. It's like, I want what she's got, and I'm going to walk up. So your physique, when you walk into a room, it does all the talking for you. It's really cool. You need to know that, okay? That's the inspiration you have on a lot of people out there. So I want to thank you again for this. We'll do it again maybe next 12 months. Another 5 pounds heavier on your frame. We'll do another one. And before we go, like we always do, I want to get you to do a nice biceps flex for the audience. You ready? Go for it.
Okay, yes. Okay. Here we go.
Come on, get set. All those bad boys. And she does that little twist as well. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Bernadette. Till next time.
Thanks, Anthony.
And we'll talk again soon.
It was lovely chatting to you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How awesome was Bernadette and her Hungarian accent? She's one of a kind. I hope she's inspired you as much as she continues to inspire me. She's going to do big things now as a coach. I'm so excited for her story and for her future, and to continue bringing great examples as to what's possible in the carnivore community, especially with the peer and above. As we get past the age of 50, we tend to lose our belief as to what's possible with the body. And she's proving time and time again that anything is possible. Thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment below. What was your story? Did you get a chance to meet Bernadette? Make sure you follow her story, and I'll see you next time for more of this stuff. Take care.